The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
9 years, this Prime Minister has doubled housing costs. In fact, 80% of people in Canada now believe, for the first time ever, that homeownership is just for the very rich. And the cities that have got money from his so-called housing accelerator have had the worst results. Vancouver, housing starts are down 18%. Toronto, down 21%. Ottawa, down 14%. Guelph, down 65%. Why doesn't he follow our common sense plan to cut out the bureaucratic middlemen and gatekeepers and instead use the savings to axe the sales tax and build the homes?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, once again, on housing, his own MPs have been asking us, for example, the $31 million we're sending to Kelowna in the riding of Kelowna Lake Country, a Conservative riding. This is money that is going to make a real difference in their communities, but the Leader of the Opposition is preventing his MPs from standing up and advocating for their communities. This place is supposed to be a place where members are voices of their communities here in Ottawa. Instead, he's sending them to be his voice in their communities. That's not how it works, Mr.
Speaker. Order. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
We want to put money directly into the pockets of people buying houses. The Prime Minister has doubled the cost of housing in Canada and tripled the cost of rent in Montreal, Mr. Speaker. After 9 years of spending huge amounts of money on local bureaucracies to prevent construction, about a third of the cost of housing in Canada is taxes. By getting rid of the tax, we can build more housing for less. Will he accept my plan to cut the GST on new builds? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, I'm listening to the Conservative leader criticizing our Housing Accelerator Fund, but he is directly contradicted by at least 18 of his own members who are currently applying to the federal government for funding in their communities to accelerate the construction of housing, to create more densification, to cut red tape. Conservative members know how important it is to invest in housing. The Conservative leader is stopping them from talking and only promoting austerity and cuts. Immigration. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition. Quebec is at a breaking point because of decisions by this bad actor here, the Prime Minister of Canada, who sent out a tweet saying, "Welcome to Canada." The last time Trump arrived in the White House, he opened a welcome centre at Roxham Road, which invited tens of thousands of people without housing, without jobs for them, without health care for them. Is he going to do exactly the opposite this time to avoid another crisis for Quebecers? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, protecting our immigration system and our borders has always been top priority for this government. It's our responsibility. The whole world is dealing with tough times, and that is why we took steps. We took the necessary steps to protect our principles and our values, as well as the integrity of our system. And we will keep doing that. We will keep staffing adequately, unlike the Conservatives who cut CBSA officers, who cut the RCMP when they were in office. We will continue to invest to protect the safety of Canadians. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition. There was no Roxham Road when the Conservatives were in power, and we had more officers at the border, just less bureaucracy in offices, and the Liberals have done exactly the opposite, and that's why the system's broken after 9 years. They've done the same thing with housing. They've doubled the cost of housing to such an extent that 1/3 of young Canadians are thinking about leaving the country, and his solution is to funnel billions of dollars to bureaucrats who are standing in the way of finding solutions. Why is that his preferred approach? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, once again, we see him attacking mayors in the municipalities who are working with the federal government to increase construction, to cut red tape, to get more housing units built. And we know it's working because at least 18 members of the Conservative caucus have applied for that funding for their municipalities to increase the speed of construction and so on. Unfortunately, the Conservative leader is stopping those members from speaking on behalf of their communities and from advancing the interests of their constituents. The Honourable Leader